Oh, Nick, I have to tell you something.
That's my name, yes.
We finally finished that one trial.
Finished case 3. Holy shit. Only took a year.
And it wasn't even that great.
A year.
It wasn't even that great of a reveal. Just more corruption.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
but now
back.
Van Zieks is in jail.
Meh.
He's a bad boy.
I'm a naughty boy. I went back to case 3 from the first game to see how my Van Zieks voice has changed. It's like night and day because he actually sounds like a person when he first shows up.
Like, can you mimic it?
Let me get something. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter. Is kind of what it sounded like.
And the other one just sounds really whiny.
I am Lord Van Zieks.
I think it's because you're combining Van Zieks with Skeletor.
Oh, maybe. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter. It's crazy. It's been like a month since we've seen him. We've been gone quite some time. No, not this time. We've been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter.
Or he's reading it for the 3rd time.
I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I can hear you, you dickhead. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese. Oh, sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that. You were thinking out loud. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer with benefits? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you. In other words, no.
I'm trying to decide. Nah.
Can you go get me one of these, please, for my throat? I promise I will not take your spot. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less, although I have no idea who it is. I'm the only prosecutor in England, after all. It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. What the fuck? Really? After all I did for him? That made the color drain from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you after all. What the fuck? Why am I such a dickhead? Why am I such a dickhead?
Because...
We sure have gotten a lot of evidence since the last time we saw you. Hey, your gun? About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh! I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stole it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. That's not very helpful. You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks, after all, Mr. Naruto. A talent for misplacing things. Shut up, Susato! Don't need your sass! This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into this. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Why are you yelling at a woman?
Oh dear. Because it is 20th century Britain. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. "10 years ago, my older brother, who was director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by, and I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's farmer. So what cruel twist of farm is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. Would they have any idea of what kangaroos are at this point?
Yes, they would.
Okay.
Because Britain has already gone to Australia.
Yeah. I guess they did do that right after America got its independence, so it probably was a good century at this point. I still don't understand it. I still don't understand what a coincidence it was that Britain all of a sudden it couldn't send its prisoners to one continent, and it just happened to find a second continent that was free to dump all their prisoners in. That's crazy. It's what it does. Britain does that. No doubt, Britain knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Cosmo recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. Well, if I know anything about this country's judicial system, it's that if you have the memory of someone that's 8 days old, that's just enough mental awareness to be able to be a prosecutor in this country. That is the bare fucking minimum, and yet it is completely allowed. That the name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Your racism. I'll skip over that one for now. Gregson's transferred to the Paris Police Prefecture, or the had finally had finally been arranged for the coming month. The month that starts with the letter P, so it could be the But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yeah, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? People dying?
Apparently
yes.
a lot more.
It's the first time I've ever seen someone die. Oh!
At least in front of me.
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. Frenchmen and Englishmen get along as well as Englishmen and the Americans, and or Englishmen and the Irish, or Englishmen and the Scottish,
Or English and anyone.
or Englishmen and the English. Those damn English. They're ruining what it means to be English. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. I should have to ask him the next time I... Oh. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say...
Sorry, Susato got thirsty and needed a drink.
Sorry, I just had some tea. We were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standings. We hear he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. That's... Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professee's identity. Honestly, everything we've learned about Gregson since he died is making him way more suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? Well, he would go off on his own without any backup whatsoever, and then after being alone for some time, he would produce evidence that he pointed to a killer. Suspiciously, that killer had no connections to the victims.
And had only just arrived.
Only had connections to Gregson himself. Anyway, after my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations had made him determined it was necessary. He's powerful. Hi, Astrid.
Powerful Astrid.
Astrid. Conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
That must be it. The cat must be back. Is your friend back?
I think she's looking for her. So you must...
She sees something.
Yeah. You must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities, then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. That's... I don't have confidence in anyone. Oh! Everyone else sucks except for me. And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I have no doubt he thought of me as... only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. I have evidence that proves otherwise. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Sexual? I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when I think the drink made my throat worse.
No.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer, only to be hunted down by a mass murderer instead. The so-called Professy.
And we found out that he actually had split personality.
That's crazy. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the Professy case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Ah! And of all things, as a lawyer.
Hey, originally I wasn't, like, studying to be a lawyer.
It's just that...
It's just kind of been pushed onto me.
It's just that one fucking, It's that one fucking line. There's only one thing worse than a lawyer. Boom. A Japanese. No.
Ew.
You! I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I mean, I'll be honest, I like the girl. I kept telling myself it was illogical, but for so many years that hatred had festered inside of me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life. To Kazuma Asogi, I'm the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. I don't know about that one. Okay, is that it? That's everything? Okay, what have we got for you? What could we...
Don't we have the picture?
What's that? Oh, it's just something I was hoping to ask your opinion about, that's all. It's a serious crime for the defense to attempt to extract information from the prosecution by illegal means. Alright, I get the message, but I don't see what's illegal about me asking.
Show the picture.
Lord Venzik, we came by this old photograph. Nah! Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that is Gregson.
Your other left.
That is my brother, Clint. Oh, okay. Did we really have to show him that to get that information? Alright, get out of my sight. Apparently his picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Meh! R-E-S-P-C-T! That's nonsense! That's what it means to me! No, I've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gene Straight, no less. That's...
Now he starts crying.
Well, maybe once, yes. Babaka. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. Fucking takes the picture and rips it in half. Meh! Now I can no longer feel feelings.
Keeps the part of his brother.
Yeah, he rips out the part with himself and Gregson and crumples that part off. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Alright, get out! Get out! That's Mr. Naruhodo. Oh my god!
I think that's the first time you said my name.
He's ever used an actual name. Or the word Mr. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. Gregson. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zeeks. Blushy.
There's a woman right here.
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it. It's been almost 2 years ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. I'm gay. Here is a loathsome Nepalese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer.
He likes us.
There are only 2 other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Osoki. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. That's... When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. I have feelings! You mean this photograph? Yes. What other photograph have you showed me? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plagued me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone.
Even myself.
Even myself. He pulls out his revolver. Just holds it.
I thought you were missing that.
I found it!
Time to finish this.
But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry.
Don't sound sorry.
So, Mr. Naruto. God, that sounds weird coming out of my mouth. I want to believe that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? I mean, I was going to anyway, but okay.
No, I just wanted to rub this in your face and then laugh at you.
It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruto. By the way, there's no you in the word honor. My life is in your hands. Get out!
Crush.
Just like this
Let's
chalice.
Break this. Just like this chalice that you always have. Hey, those are my breaks.
Those are mine. For Lord Van Zeeks. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask.
No, he hands it to Lord Van Zeeks. This is mine. Crushes.
Cherish my life like I cherish my hollow chalice. Crush!
Or throw it into the fire.
Which is why I cannot let the man down, or crush him, or send him to the fires. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. I want Kazuma to just be the most amateurish. He has no idea what he's doing. To my katana!